How are you? Hopefully y'all can hear me. Let me see if I can test this out. Let's see if this works really quick. Because last time I went to do this and I got played and my sound was off. And we're not doing that again. We are not doing that again. Okay. Um, can I not see that I'm live right now? Okay. Let's see if I can hear myself. Okay. Let's see if I can hear myself. It's working. All right. That's all I needed to see. That's all I needed to hear. All right. So I did a video a few weeks ago about how I study. And I wanted to show you guys a visual of what I actually do, like what that actually looks like in my process. So we're going to pick a scripture that I have never picked before. Okay. And that scripture is Deuteronomy. I write everything down, y'all. I actually have it here written twice in two different versions because I started with the Holmes Christians version, but then I was like, oh, wait, I need a KJV because I want to look it up in Hebrew. So KJV, and thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thine heart and with all thine soul and with all thy might. I definitely messed that up. Yes, with. I put will. All right. So the first thing I would do with this scripture is obviously I had looked it up, right? Here it is in the actual another version. Love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all your soul and with all your strength. I use the Blue Letter Bible app. This is the regular Bible app. I don't want that. Did I close the app? Okay. Blue Letter Bible. So this is what we're going to do. Deuteronomy 6 verse. Wait. Yeah. Deuteronomy 6 verse 5. We're going to start just reading verse 4. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. This is actually one of the greatest commandments. Okay, this is the greatest commandment. And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thine heart and with all thy soul and with all thy might. So with the Blue Letter Bible app, I love that you can look things up in Hebrew and in Greek. In the Old Testament, you'll find it in Hebrew. In the New Testament, you'll find it in Greek. I do have a book that kind of helps me be able to translate some words that's in Greek into Hebrew, but just some of the words, not all. So, but here, since we're in the Old Testament, it would be Hebrew. And you click on the scripture. Come on, tablet. Don't be failing me now. Seriously? Wait, hold on. Now this thing want to act up. Let me close this app and start again. Let's try this again. Let's try this again. Technology, y'all. And this laptop, this not laptop. This tablet is old too, so it might try me. There we go. So you see what I did? I tapped the scripture. It opens up here. You went into linear. And then up here, you have it in the Hebrew text. Obviously, I don't read Hebrew, but it'll go from this direction to that. It goes from right to left. And then you have the scripture right here. In here's the word in Hebrew, and here's the English phrase. So, and thou shalt love translates to, let's see how you say it, because it'll tell you how you say it. I didn't want to click on it, but it's fine. I'll go back.
Strong's H157. I have.
See, and it
And the
tells you.
form just below that, a have.
Or a have. And it tells you what it means to love. Human love for one another includes family and sexual. Human appetite for objects such as food, drink, sleep, wisdom. Human love for or to God. Act of being a friend, lover, friend. God's love towards men, to individual men, to people. Israel, to righteousness, lovely, lovable friends, lovers. And then you go down here and they'll give you like another definition: to have affection for sexually or otherwise, like a friend. And then they have the Brown Driver Briggs lexicon. And this can look confusing, but they'll kind of like tell you how the word love is being used in each scripture. So that's pretty cool. I didn't realize that until like later on, because it's a lot here and I'm still learning how to use this app. But the thing is, even though it tells me the definition, I'm like, you have all these definitions, right? But I'm like, in which definition applies to this particular scripture? It can be all of them. It can just be one. It can be some of them. It depends on the context, right? How would I know that? So for me, I like looking at the picture language. This is where my book comes in hand that I talked about in the other video. Okay, my leg is going numb. So let's switch out here. This book. This is my book that I like because it takes it back to the picture language. Okay. So in order to look this up in here, it says H157. That's the concordance number that I will use to look it up. So I'm just going to write that here because sometimes I'll be forgetting. And it's just easier for me to go back to. All right, so H157. So H157, there's a few indexes in here. I want the Strong's number one. So we're going to look up H157. 157. Here we go. 157. 1094 CV. Hold up. Write that down. 1094 CV. I like to write it down because when I'm in my notebook and doing stuff, if I need to reference it faster, I already have it written down. And then writing stuff down is like muscle memory for me too, so. Uh, 157. Oh, I'm in the wrong thing. It's just like, oh, I'm looking at 1094. Judy, get your life. Yeah, I'm doing too much. I'm looking at the wrong thing. 1094. Here we go. 1094. There we go. C and then V. And that's love. So what I like to do is to confirm, because sometimes you still be finding little stuff. You like, wait, is this correct? I'll look at the spelling. I'll look at the symbols. Even though I might not be able to read it, I can see the picture. So you see that? I want to make sure that it looks that way. And so I'm like, oh, okay. That is the correct one. And it says the expressions and actions towards the family, which one was privileged with. And then we have the same down here. And it also tells you other ways that the KJV uses the word love, like it's like this similar definition. And let's see, then I like to go to the root word. The root word right here. So, wait, yeah, okay. So, love. The pictograph represents one who is looking at a great sight. That's the pictograph. With his hands raised up as when saying, behold. And then this little symbol is a representation of the tent or house combined. These pictures mean look towards the house or provide for the family. One does not choose the household which one is born into, including tribe, parents, children, and wife, as marriages were often arranged by the father. It is a gift from God. These gifts are seen as a privilege and are to be cherished and protected. And it's interesting because when it comes to love, the action definition is give. Because when you look at Hebrew, it's actually the way you think is differently than the Western way of thinking. So it's like it's the Eastern side of the world, so we think differently, and things are described by its function. Versus here with the Greek, things are more like abstract, so you can't really grasp like understanding in a way. So yeah. So Hebrew is concrete. So that way, so it's like, think of when Yahusha gave analogies to make things make sense because you have something to compare it to. So you're like, oh, okay. So yeah, so the action definition is give. The concrete definition is a gift. And then the abstract definition, that's what we call love. And so let's go back to the scripture. And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thine heart. So we know the Lord thy God. Let's see what with all means. All, the whole, all the whole of. Any, each, every, anything, totality, everything. Let's actually see if that's in here. H3605. And by the way, y'all, I write all of these definitions down. Like, I write all of this in my book, but I'm gonna try to keep this short though, but I do need to take some type of notes just so I can get my life together. So let me at least do that. I'm gonna just have to go back myself. Okay. This is interesting though. Because you really think about when you're standing there with your hands up, looking at a great sight, like that's how we look at Yah. You know what I mean? Raising our hands to Him. Mm. He's the one that provides for us, y'all. Like, He literally has everything that we need. All right. So 3605. And yes, this is me rushing through this because I don't go this fast. I'll be like ruminating, not ruminating, but I have to like sit with these definitions, to be honest with you. Oh, it's not in. No, it's not in here, which is fine because we already have the definition here. So I just wanted to see. I wanted to see if it was in there. All right. Let's see what thine heart means. We can actually hear how it sounds.
Strong's H3824. Levav.
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 So this is heart. Heart, the inner man, the mind, the will, the heart, the soul, understanding, the inner part, the mist of things, heart of man, the soul, the heart of man. Mind, knowledge, thinking, reflection, memory, inclination, resolution, determination of will, the conscious, heart of moral character, as seat of appetites, a seat of emotions and passions, a seat of courage. It's so interesting to see this appetites. Like, what are you craving for? What are you craving for? It's also used like H3820, the heart, as the most interior organ. Bethink themselves, breast comfortably, courage, fate, tender hearted, missed mind, unawares, understanding. And then here we can see that there's a root. So we can even go to the root to gain more understanding. To ravish, become intelligent, get a mind. To take heart, become enheartened. Become intelligent, to ravish the heart, encourage, make heart beat faster, to make cakes, bake cake, and cook bread. And again, for me, when I'm looking this up, I'm like, okay, how is this being used? So I still like to go into the ancient Hebrew. But as you can see, when it comes to the heart, it's not the typical definition of, oh, my feelings, and it just feels so great. And like, your heart is actually your mind. I always giggle when and I used to say this phrase too, and I don't say it no more. When people were like, oh, God know my heart. And I'm like, do y'all not realize like what y'all saying? Like, he does know your heart. The problem is you don't. And the word says that the heart can be deceiving. So it's like, I don't know. People love getting that advice. Follow your heart, girl. Follow your heart, man. Go ahead. Your heart gonna lead you to all of these all of these places you shouldn't be. Okay, let's look this up now. 34. Oh, not 34. 3824. Let me write this down real quick. I already know what that means, but still, I'm a visual person, so I just need to have it in my brain and in my face. 3824. $38.24. Go clear. 1255. There we go. Now you can see it. 3824. 1255 BN. So now that 1255 BN is what I'm going to look up over here. $12.55. There we go. $12.55. $12.55 B N. Now, again, I still like to look at the spelling to see if it matches. And it does. And we find it here, to be wise of heart, here, the organ that pumps blood, and the heart is also seen as the seat of thought and emotion in the mind. So when you hear the Bible, when you read that, read in the Bible that when it talks about the heart, it's really talking about your mind, y'all. It's talking about your emotions and your thoughts. That's what it's actually referring to. That's what it's literally referring to. Oh, there's that other definition. Because remember it said something about cake. Because these are different variations of the word. Because words build off of each other. All right, so I want to go back to the root. Okay, I want to see the root of the word. So I'm going to go to the beginning of this, which is here. And it doesn't have the action definition. It has the concrete, which is heart. We know that. Abstract is thinking, to think. The pictograph is a picture of a shepherd's staff representing authority. And that is a picture of a tent representing what is inside. Combine these means the authority inside. The consciousness of man is seen as coming from deep inside the chest and the heart. Thirst as an inside desire for water. So it's just so interesting. So when it talks about the heart, like the conscious of man is seen as coming from deep inside the chest and the heart. Like, so when people are talking about your conscious mind, and a lot of people don't even realize what their thoughts actually are. Like, they don't know. I call it like back there. You know what I mean? People be like, why am I triggered? Like, I don't understand where that came from, and stuff like that. Well, there might be something going on that, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of this stuff, our memories, our emotions, like, they're not in the forefront of our brain. They're in the subconscious mind. That's where you really learn about yourself, basically. So when we do that inner healing work, and Yah is doing the work within us to grow, that's what he's working on. He's working on our mind. So now that we know what that means, let's go on to the next word. And with all thy soul. What is the soul? Because a lot of times we think we know what these things mean. And it's like, do we? Do we really? It's here.
Strong's H 5315. Nephesh. Nephesh.
Nephesh. Okay. Soul, self, life, creature, person, appetite, mind, living being, desire, emotion, passion. That which breathes, the bringing substance or being, soul, the inner being of a man, living being with life in the blood, the man himself, self, person, or individual, seat of the appetites, seat of emotions and passions, activity of mind, dubious, activity of the will, dubious, activity of the character, dubious. So we see some definitions here. Properly a breathing creature, animal of vitality, used very widely in the literal, accommodated, or figurative sense, bodily or mental, any appetite, beast, body, breath, creature, deadly desire, discontented, fish, ghost, greedy. Okay. Also, too, you can look up this stuff in English as well. I don't want to deter you or discourage you from doing that. But this scripture, I would just dive right into the Hebrew. Like when I'm doing other studies, like for example, I was doing a study on suicide. I looked up that definition in I don't want to say every language, but it was like I looked it up in English and then seeing what the root words. Did I look up the root words of suicide? I can't remember, but I definitely looked that up in English. Which that is something I have to share. I found a lot of stuff, and there was a whole healing strategy, when I was looking up that topic in the Bible, and the reason why I was looking it up is to see how that spirit functions in our lives. A lot of times people just focus on, oh, is it a heaven or hell thing or whatever, and I'm like, go ahead, y'all keep focusing on that. I'll focus on how the spirit be operating and moving in people's lives. So then that way, you ain't got to worry about if it's a heaven or hell thing. You'll just be living for Yah. Point blank, period. All right, H5315. Here we are. There's 5315, 24, 24N. 24. And what the heck? What was I doing? My bad. I'm just writing this down. This was H5315. And this was soul. All right. So now I'm going to look over here. 24, 24. 24, 24. 24, 24. N. Soul. Soul got the same spelling. Same spelling. It also means soul. It also means refresh. To refresh the whole. Sorry, let me put it closer so it's clear. To refresh the whole of a person. And as you see, the action definition is refresh. The concrete definition is soul. It doesn't have an abstract definition. The whole of a person, the body, breath, and mind. So that's what your soul is. Your soul is your body, your breath, and your mind. Okay. And with all thy might. What is might? I don't think I've ever looked up might. And that's 3966.
Strong's H 3966. Me'od. Me'od.
Me'od. Me'od. Exceedingly much. Greatly abundant. Substantive. Force. Muchness. Properly. Vehemently. And I'm like, what's that? So like if I run across something and I don't know what it is, I Google it. Oh wait, I should have done my other one. Hold up. marked by a forceful energy, powerful, intensely emotion, impassioned, fervid, deeply felt, forcibly expressed. Okay. Alrighty. There's a root here. I didn't look up the root of the other word, and from here, I just realized. Brand, firebrand, from an unused root meaning to rake together. A poker for turning or gathering embers. Firebrand. Originally, perhaps bent stick used to stir fire. Okay. All right. Ancient Hebrew, where we go? Here we go. H181. And this is for Mike. And I am going through this fast. I know this looks very slow and tedious, but this is fast. Because, again, when I read this stuff, I need to stare at it for a while so my brain can process what I'm reading and what it's actually saying. And this is my process. So when I be showing up and talking about stuff, this is how I be getting there, basically. This is how I be getting there. 104JN. Not 104. 1004JN. So here we go. Channel 4. J. N. Which N? See, because sometimes they be having different N's with a little thingy next to it. And it's like, well, which one? This is why I like going back to the way it spells. So we know it's this one here. Charcoal. The wood remnant of a fire. Oh, so that's what firebrand is. See, remember we were just reading that? The wood remnants of a fire. Which we know what charcoal is. Brand, because, concerning. The abundant remnants of charred wood from a fire that is raked together, causing a cloud of ash. And then if we look at the root word, the concrete is smoke. And I'm going to look at all three of these because, again, the root is the same and there's different meanings. As you can see, they build off each other. So concrete is mist, an overwhelming abundance of ash raked in the fire, causing a cloud of dust. And the mist is a misty vapor, which makes sense because it's like a cloud of dust. Now see, this is interesting. That's why I say I have to stare at some of this after a while, because it's like, okay, y'all talking about charcoal, and this is coming from the word might. And so I'm like, how is this used? So this is what my brain does. And again, I'm not going to hold y'all on here while I sit here and like think about how this explanation ties into the scripture. What I'll do is I'm going to like really sit with this and actually do a study on this on this, and then I will bring it back and start piecing it together, because I cannot do it right now. Like, I cannot. Like, my brain is like, no. But what I was able to do is just show you how I get to what I get to, basically. So maybe I should have actually did this study first, and then I would be able to kind of show y'all a little better. But that's all right. I will still leave this up because it'll help somebody. And if it don't help, well, I'm gonna come back and try again. Because I'm learning and just want to share as I'm learning. So, all right. So that's pretty much it. And we're gonna have a part 2 for this. Okay. So I can come back with some nuggies. And now that I showed y'all how I get to, like, my understanding, just how I study and get to certain definitions and stuff like that, y'all can do a study too and share some nuggies in the comments. So just want to say that as well. On that note, y'all have a great night. And I don't think there's anyone in the chat. I don't even know how to get there because I'm using my phone. And I don't know what I'm doing with this technology. And I can't even see it. So y'all have a great night.